thing I've noticed. Well, in the last Division 3 race of last season, we had a Red Bull being quite far away from another car as we started the race, and in the first Division 2 race of this season, we have a Red Bull who's quite away from another car as we starting this race of SLR Hicklin. So yes, we are. So yes, maybe a slightly start to this race than you'd expect, as Hicklin, he might have spun or something, but is only just making his way to his grid spot now. But we are now ready with everyone on the grid for the 5 red lights as they are counting down. On board with Dorsey to see how his start goes and how he's kicking off Division 2. And we are lights out and off we go. Good start there from Dorsey. I can see a good start from one of the Ferraris as well up the inside. And top queue hold station. Oh!
No!
Rockamad is out. There's a safety car already, and I think you must have caught that a lot better than I did, Matt. But
I did.
I've seen a lot of people all the way down, and people getting penalties left, right, and centre. But Rockamad, who was on the front row for this race, is out of the race. And yeah, what happened?
Oh well, from the view I had from the TV, I think Rockerman, I think there was 3 separate incidents in turn 1. 3 completely separate incidents. I think for a bit like Rockerman might have lost on his own. I'd like to think there might be 1 or 2 people who confirm that on stream. But that was an awful first corner. It was very Division 1-esque from what we saw yesterday. And as you can see, there's lots of broken front wings, lots of penalties. And unsurprisingly a safety car. But this is where we might start to see some of these some strategies, really. You pit on the hards, who's going to stay out?
Well, the hards, they will make the end from here, but will drivers want to sacrifice that valuable track position? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, that incident, well, I'm going to have a look at the positions gained, because, I mean, there's been some massive ones. SLRI Callum up 7 positions on lap 1 as SLR Fempass has gone into the pits. And the others behind him are not electing to follow him. So he is going to try and go to the end, was the initial race leader. But that is going to put him nearby where the guys who got damaged lap 1 are. And very, very risky strategy there from the Mercedes driver. Of course, his teammate in Division 1 managed to make it work last night in Division 1, but will it work for Fempest in Division 2? He's going to be in a lot of traffic. He's going to have to get through quite a lot, but it's going to be difficult for him.
Dorsey is very good with his tyres. We saw yesterday with some drivers, especially on the pad, 4 laps on them hard tyres, and of course overtaking at this track isn't the greatest. I mean, all you need is the battle in front and Dorsey just to close behind, and as soon as they pit, if he saved his tyres during that bit, he'd just be able to comfortably make it towards the end of the race. You mentioned earlier about Alan making up 8 places every single race. I remember when Colin on Division 2, he always makes a chunk of places up. Somehow, he's always able to negotiate the chaos that happens in front of him. So fantastic job once again by the racing point driver. But yeah, so we've already how many drivers have stopped then? I think we've got about how many drivers did stop in the end?
It was just Fempest and Zakis B, surprisingly. As yes, another couple of drivers we've seen who've gained quite a lot. SLR Scopes up in P4. I think it was Italy last season where he gained 8 places in the first lap, and he's gained a lot this first lap as well. As is Cooper Benz in the McLaren. Started off P10 and is running now P5. So yes, after he's putting his poor qualifying behind him and has had a fantastic start to this race. And Craig FK, the Division 3 champion, is in the lead. I'd have thought it, the first Division 2 race of the season. Fantastic start from him. He'll be absolutely loving it. Of course, a bit disappointed that his teammate is out, but from a personal point of view, he'll be very happy with how his season with how this first couple of laps have started. He'll just need to be able to pull a gap now to Dorsey, to the rest of the field, as Dorsey and Zakis Beast will struggle to get through the traffic on the hards, I expect. And we'll have to see how this race shakes up. And Rando, what do you have?
Well, I just think this is going to be an absolute nail-biter for the Mercedes strategist in Brackley, aka Zydrad. So he's on a hard time. We know the hards can make it. Barney proved that yesterday in Division 1. They will make it. However, just looking up, he's got soft runners, medium runners, and hard runners, and that's only to get to P13. So even if Sempest is considering
not a Sempest.
even if he is considerably quicker than the other drivers, he's going to struggle to get past. So I just think that might have been a call too early, because what we saw in the Div 1 race was lots of drivers pulling into pit. We didn't see just the one, but because Fempest is pit by himself, he's going to have so much traffic to try and get through. And if the top 5 can get a clean break, they can easily make 10 seconds in a couple of laps, as it is so hard to overtake it.
Speaking of 10 seconds, I think SLR Callum, his big start has cost him, as he's got 2 5-second penalties, one of which he'll have to serve in the pits, as he hasn't made his mandatory pit stop yet. And the other one, well, who knows why or what he got them, but we are on board with Craig FK now, as he is going to start the field away.
I'll quickly say before
the rest of the race.
I'll quickly say if we get started.
Yep,
I mean,
go
if
on.
you've got 5 second or 10 penalties, I think you might have missed a trick here. If the task can make it towards the end with a bit of conservation, if you would have taken that penalty now, that would have been done, and you'd be right to the back.
Yeah, absolutely. As Craig FK is not elected to go on the start finish straight, he is elected to go straight away as we start the rest of this race now. And he has got a fantastic break there. And I think looking at the background, I think there was a Red Bull looking to make a move with Dark Xenon. And yep, he is right on the back of Drastic Blaze now, as he's looking to make a move on the medium runner. Trying to go around the outside, Black Blaze Hunt's about to drive it, and he loses it a little. That invites SLR Bean to maybe try and make a move, but he doesn't manage it. Looking further forward, Cooper Benz is right on the back of SLR Scopes now.
Sorry, Zenon going around the fast right-hander. I don't know what corner it was, but he lost a bit, he saved it. I think he did clear the water. I'm just checking to see if there is any damage. Horrible view, now he's got away with it. Zenon fights to live another day.
Yep, and looking at the gaps, as MLCR Liam makes a move on Cosmic Cameron. It's a good move from him. Cosmic Cameron is up into P9 into the points. That's fantastic from him. Oh no, he's just lost it. Oh, that's really unfortunate for him. As, yep, he's rejoining the track okay. But looking at the gaps now, SLR Fempest, I think the reason why it worked quite well, the strategy of hitting on lap 1 or 2, the other guys in Division 1 last night, is that, well, half the grid had binned it, so they only lost about 10 or so positions. But looking at the gaps now, he's already 12 seconds behind Craig, and he's going to be caught in traffic here. So Craig, if he gets the hammer down here, he can absolutely jump Fempest. That I have no doubt of. But as there's a yellow flag, and who's that's gone?
It's McLaren.
Is it? Oh no! Oh no! Benz and Blaze.
That's massive.
I think Benz lost it. And then I accidentally went on board with Blaze instead of Benz. And then I just see Blaze careering into the side of Benz. So Benz is out.
Let's get the camera away from that.
That's a really unfortunate start to the season for the McLaren driver. And another couple of positions gained for SLR Icanum. And another person who has also gained a lot of position is SLR Bean, the Division 3 runner-up from last season. He started down in P19, but the Haas driver is already up into P8. But yeah, that was a big, big crash. 3 people gone already. Only a VSC, surprisingly, from that. But
yeah, I think he's
that's
lost.
horrible from Benz and Blaze.
I think he must have lost that on traction, I think. Unless I'm told otherwise. I know that UK Success is the McLaren race engineer this race, so hopefully he can spill some beans if he knows anything as the race is back on the way down. Oh no, someone else is gone.
Yep.
Teddy's gone.
Oh, Teddy, no. Yeah, he's lost it, I think. Oh, that's really unfortunate for him. He was on the hard, hoping to maybe make it to the end, but he has completely pinned it. And yeah, SLR Fempest, he hasn't gone. He doesn't look like he's got brilliant pace here at the moment. does the Mercedes driver. He's not really hounding the back of the cars ahead of him, even though there is quite a gap between Hicklin and Dark Xenon. But yeah, Blaze. But yeah, SLR Fempest. The strategy at the moment is not paying off. It could all change, of course, but yeah, as his teammate ahead, SLR Panther, is now looking to make a move on Alan, but is able so. And Craig has not shaken Barlow here as well. That is another battle to keep an eye of. I said Barlow would have good race pace, and he certainly has. He's keeping within the DRS zone of Craig, and he's got a bit more ERS than the Renault driver, so could stand him in good stead.
I mean,
who is in good stead as well is Owen Howe 36, as SLR Icon behind him has lost it. He's in the wall.
Oh no, that's not what to be.
Oh, careful there, Callum. Careful there. There's another safety car. Everyone in now for hard.
Yeah, surely they'll pit. Surely they'll pit now. That's the right strategy.
Callum, yep, he's put himself in a wall. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
But yep.
Put in the pits if you retire.
Yeah, Craig is in. Barlow is in. Owen's in. Scopes is in. Original's in. Leah I expect to be in. Bean's in. Zenon's in. Hicklin stays out and will take the lead. So this will be interesting. Hicklin on his old hards is in the lead of the race, and Jagoy is in P2 after starting P20, and Zydred told us to trust the process, and at the moment the process is putting SLR Fempest in P3 at the moment.
Division 2 has officially got underway, ladies and gents.
Yep, what on earth is going on? I don't quite know myself, but the position changes are making my head hurt.
It's only lap 7.
Zach is Beast 25.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Seb, onto you under the safety car period. Chaos is what I must say, and try and talk some sense into this chaos.
Well. So obviously, we said it would be a safety car affected race, and that is exactly what it's proving to be. As I said, so we have Fempest now in P3, so you could say that's a success, but he's going to be on the edge of tyre wear when it comes to these last couple of laps, whereas Craig, Barlow, Owen, everyone from Owen down, it's all going to be on these fresher, hard tyres that we know will comfortably make it from pitting lap 6. So I think Mercedes may have actually shot themselves in the foot here by pitting early, because now Fempest is going to have those worn hard tyres, and he's going to have the traffic of Hicklin ahead of him. I'll be interested to see what he's able to do from this position, and more than anything, if Owen is able to capitalise on what could be a first podium opportunity for him. Touch wood.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, another big gainer with all of this. Now looking at the tyres everyone's on, and yeah, most people are on hards. Is Zakis Beast 25? Of course, he is also on the older tyres, but he is someone that he's always been fantastic on his tyres and making some very unlikely strategies work in the past. As Jagoy, who was on the softs, has elected to box. Maybe a bit too late. I can see why he didn't want to stack by his teammate, but this is going to cost him quite a bit.
He's been on the softs
yes,
again. Back on the softs.
But yes, Zakis Beast 25 is another big gainer who is... Yeah, he's in the podium position at the moment. An effective P2 once Hicklin makes a stop. But yes, you were saying about Fempest, he has to get past Hicklin. Like, his tyres are not that much older than the others, actually, coming to think of it. Because there was the safety car came in lap 3, and the safety car came back out again in lap 6. So that 3 laps of tyre wear, it's going to make a difference, sure, but is it going to make that much of a difference to mean that Craig, Barlow, Owen, etc. can get through the pack? I'm not so sure.
I think the hard tyres I find personally, I think they take about 2 or 3 laps to get to feel optimal, to feel at their best, you could say, or to at least be on the way to being their best. Fempest needs to do a quick job on Hicklin, because even though it's just one driver ahead, he can really use Hicklin to his advantage. Hicklin is going to make it easy if he wants his strategy to work, if we're going based from qualifying times as well, unless something bizarre does happen at the start of the restart. I do expect Fempest to pull away.
Yep. Yeah, you were saying that. Of course, we were saying that he is maybe at a bit of a bad position, like having to get past Hicklin. But I think it could be a bit of a blessing for him if he gets the move done cleanly, because the others are going to have to get through the potentially slower driver of SLR Hicklin on the oldest tyres of the entire field as well. But they'll have to do it after. And of course, another thing that mixes positions up quite a lot is those 5-second penalties that a lot of them have been served in the pits. But we are on board with SLR Hicklin now. As he's preparing for the restart, he is going as late as possible, and he has chosen now to go. So we are underway. We are going to go on board with SLR Fempest, as Alan has made a move for Panther before the start-finish line, so I expect him to have to give that back. But Hicklin makes a bit of a mistake, but SLR Fempest was not close enough to capitalise. But who could be close enough to capitalise on the mistake from the Mercedes is Zakis Beast 25, who is staying right with them. As Barlow was... Craig spun, I think. Craig has lost it. He's had a bit of a moment, and he's all dropped all the way down to P10. And SLR Bean is now the guy right behind him. So I don't really know what happened to Craig FK, but the guy that was looking like one of the favourites to win this race has lost it. And so compromising his race quite a lot, Matt.
It is.
He's got wing damage as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Bean on Craig as well, and Taser on the inside of Leah. Oh, the carnage is happening, and it's not even going on in the points. And beside Teddy, it's a racing point. They're right beside each other. Oh, no, look at the camera in the Craig.
Oh,
it's going to go well. Oh, God. There's more damage. Someone's cut the chicane. Oh, it's Cameron. What is...
How has there not been a crash there? How has there not been a crash there?
Going on, but Craig can certainly spice up the race. Unfortunately, at his own expense, and he goes up the inside. I think, but Craig is not over yet. Callum's done Craig. Oh, dear. Oh, it's not looking good for Craig, unfortunately. But he's going to hope for another safety car. Lee's connection is not looking great at all. I'm going to have to keep track of that again.
Yeah, absolute chaos going on. But in the midst of all that, SLR Barlow is running P4 on the freshest tyres out of the entirety of the top runners. And well, if these newer hard tyres are going to, if these newer hard tyres do work, then SLR Barlow has a real shot of winning this race, you must say. He seems to have a bit better pace than Owen. As SLR Bean's out.
Oh, he's in the middle of the track. Oh, I thought Richard
Oh,
just missed
God.
him.
And there's another safety car.
Oh, my.
There's another one.
It's only lap 10, for crying out loud.
Well, I was hoping for chaos in Division 2. We have not been disappointed here, folks.
The safety car's
there
actually
is
left
3
them
safety. I didn't know it was possible to have this many safety cars in 10 laps. But
Wow.
but there has been. I'm also wondering because Owen, he has looked quite slow, quite a lot of the time, and I was wondering. Yes, the McLaren driver is picking up wing damage, so that explains the lack of pace from Owen. Will he elect to pit to solve his wing damage? I don't know whether he got that off Craig or what, but he is. Owen's in the
Mediums
pits,
from here,
but
they
on
will
mediums.
go just about.
They will go at the end, but it's not very good from Owen. That's really cost him a bit.
Not all the way to the back.
But yes, this is another few laps, and interestingly, SLR Hicklin has elected not to pit under that safety car. Personally, I would have been inclined to maybe pit for the mediums. You're going to have quite good tyres compared to the rest of them on the hards, and maybe be able to make up your way through the positions, rather than take a pit stop under full racing conditions for the softs. But I guess he does want those softs for the end, so it's another one to keep an eye out for. And this does mean that Fempest is not fully released. He is still on the back of Hicklin and will still have to make a move on the Red Bull driver.
Unless it's been addressed already, I've just seen in the Twitch chat that apparently Owen got his broken front wing amongst the Barlow Craig battle. So clearly, the incident which resulted in Craig in dropping like West Brom down the standings in this race. Something happened there with Barlow, so that might be one of the stewards later on. Anywho, like
Oh
you said,
joy!
yeah.
There is. I was laughing about the first 10 laps of this race. And,
The realisation.
well,
Stewards
well,
afterwards.
this is going to be enjoyable. We're not going to comment on any specific incidents, but
Sleep is
I'm
overrated.
sure there's going to be quite a lot of fun for these stewards later on.
I think I volunteered to be a steward, my word. Oh no.
Oh well, but yeah, Craig. This safety car is an absolute lifesaver for Craig FK. The Renault driver, he got his wing damage on with his incident with Barlow, of course, and yeah, he was dropped right down and completely out of it. But now he's on fresh mediums, whereas the other guys are on worn hards, and yeah, he's not in the worst position in the world, is Craig. Neither is Owen with that, of course, with that wing damage. The safety car absolutely saved him as well. This race is far from over. Most people are on similar strategies, but the guys at the front are the guys on the oldest tyres. And interestingly, Jagoy, well, does he have a plan? Maybe? Is his plan different from everyone else's? Absolutely, he's still on the softs.
I can't believe I'm going to have to do this, but now Leah can't keep racing, he keeps the next in. Oh, I hate being that person, but...
I'm looking on board with him. I think it's been long enough. We've given a few laps to see how it goes, but yeah.
Send the invite.
Shame for him. I know he'll be absolutely gutted with that, but sadly he's...
Yeah, I've just had Craig as
got
well
issues with his
message
connection
me.
that he must...
I've just had Craig message me as well saying, yeah, get him out. Literally seconds after I've done it as well, so...
Yeah, it's a real shame. It's a real shame for Leah, but ultimately, it's not fair on the others if he's continuing racing with that connection. But yes, SLR Hicklin, he's on another safety. He's going to do his next safety car restart. He didn't last very long. It didn't last very long in racing conditions, and there hasn't really been many laps of actual racing so far. But maybe we'll get a few now. Hopefully, I don't know whether there's a limit of the number of safety cars and stuff there can be, but we'll have to wait and see how Hicklin judges this restart, as we're on board with him now. Backing up the field quite nicely, but it looks like he just wants to get on with it this time. Or not. Oh! Wing damage! Wing damage. Barlow's got wing damage. And...
Oh my god!
Oh my...
Oh god, is that gonna go well? Barlow's in the inside! Oh my... Sit back.
Many problems. And Scopes now! Scopes is up as one of the top guys who is on the fresher compound tyres. Can he maybe challenge for the win here, Scopes? As we are now going on with the race now, and there is all sorts of things happening in the midfield. Owen and Craig are battling at it. Original and Craig are battling at it. Owen is making a move on Alan, getting through fantastically on those fresh medium compound tyres. He's not out of this race. And there's Teddy, Barlow and Zenon. Teddy is up the inside of Dark Zenon.
What on earth am I watching?
SLR Barlow's waiting in the wings, but it does have his wing damage, of course.
I'm
going to go on board with Owen Howe 36, sorry, as yeah, he'll be hoping to get through Barlow as quickly as he possibly can. Barlow with that wing damage, of course, I believe he was. And yeah, it'll be absolutely gutted, I think. I think that was kind of triggered a bit by Hicklin. Hicklin, he went to do a restart and then and looked like he was pulling away, but then hesitated. So I don't know.
Barlow's in the pits. Yeah, damaged front wing. I think that's connection at the back of Zaka's Beast, which might explain why Zaka's Beast got a 5-second penalty on the safety car restart.
Speaking of Zach's beast, he's right on the back of SLR Fempest here. Thinking of making a move? No. But Fempest is all over the back of Hicklin now as there's a yellow flag as SLR Callum has also retired from the session. But Barlow and Panther have had to box onto fresh tyres. So their race is compromised. And a driver, do you remember he was backwards? He was backwards in the wall. Last by a mile. Into P5 now. SLR Teddy.
What?
On fresh mediums.
See, for you two, you were in this race last season. Now, what's it like seeing it from the
I am scared. I can't believe I managed to last however many races with this. What on earth is happening? This is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely a great watch for us. Oh, there's a yellow flag and Jagoy's out. Jagoy's out. Driver number 7, VSC now.
Oh my!
Is Hicklin going to pit or is he going to stay out? Of course, Hicklin staying out really helps his teammate, actually.
Oh, Hicklin, I'll pit now. Oh, he's not.
Nope, he doesn't. But yeah, 2 drivers that I don't think should give up are Barlow and Panther. Panther is on 6-lap old mediums, which is not gonna help his cause, but there's a lot of people who have retired, and there's a lot of this race to go. So they are certainly not out of it. And who is not out of it as well, the guy with wing damage, and the other guy with wing damage, a few laps ago, Owen Howe 36 and Craig FK are in P7 and P8 on fresh mediums. I need a drink.
This is mad. I'm hoping for more of the same in Elite, not personal benefit. But, it's 13 runners and only 14 laps as we're back on the way to them.
Yep, and I'm going to go back on board with SLR Scopes, who's right on the back of Zach's beast. He's on much fresher tyres than the Ferrari. He's basically pushing him round the corner. We're now going to go on board with SLR Teddy, who's watching this battle right from the back of the... Is Scopes going to think about making a move? No, he's not, but he does compromise himself a bit. No! And, Teddy's lost his wing off him. And Owen Howe 36, he is capitalising on this, making a move on Dark Zenon. Getting his way up into P6 as the McLaren driver. Oh! Loses it a bit. He thinks better of it. He's biding his time here. I expect Teddy to have to go into the pits with that wing damage, though. So, yeah. But no, he does stay out.
Scopes is in.
Oh, was it Scopes that got the damage, not Teddy? I can't actually remember.
Teddy got the damage, but then he got the move done. So unless he's got pace despite that end plate missing, then, well, why not? He's got 30 laps to do on the medium tyres. Will it pull those tyres last? I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing with Owen is Zenon, Teddy, Zach's beast, Hicklin, ahead of him, all have penalties. He's running in P6s, Owen. Zach's beast, 25. Hearing people say that he might get that penalty removed because it was from a safety car collision, but still, Owen could, if he doesn't make many if he keeps it together, could be on for his first podium here if he keeps it on the track. So
don't say it.
I'm
hugging my
slamming my desk right now.
I'm hugging my
I am
desk like
crossing
a koala.
everything.
Oh, don't get my hopes up, honestly. I'm begging. I'm on my knees for an Owen podium.
As SLR Fempest has also got a penalty, and he's on his older tyres. This race is really shaping up here. As he really, he's not pushing too much to stay on the back of Hicklin. He's happy just where he is at the moment, doesn't want to make a move on the Red Bull driver. Because he knows that Hicklin has to box again. But he has now closed up quite a lot now. He's using overtake and DRS. Hicklin's going defensive. SLR Fempest going to think about a move. No, he is not. As well, SLR Hicklin has led the majority of this race, despite starting about from, I think, P16, I think it was. P17, something like that. He got knocked out in Q1, but really, he's not doing a bad job at all in P1, really. He's driving smoothly as Owen picks up a penalty as well. That's welcome news for Craig behind him. Guys, sorry guys for that. Xbox had a bit of a moment. I think I'm back in now, and just about to get back into the session. And yep. Hopefully we are going to rejoin with not too much action missed. As I've seen SLR Fempest and Zakis Beast have taken over SLR Hicklin, who's now coming into the pits. Craig has made a move on Owen. But yes, the stream should be back now.
Honestly.
What did I miss, guys?
Well, Fempest is in the lead now. Zakis Beast is staying within a second. Dark Zenon has made his way up to third place, but about 2 seconds away from Zakis Beast, but unfortunately does have a penalty. It's looking very good for Craig, who's made his way back up to fourth without a penalty. Touch wood. Owen down in fifth. Original in sixth. The gap is very minimal between first and sixth, but then there's an 11-second gap between sixth and seventh. Yeah. Right, definitely back in.
Yep. So I think, yep, I'm definitely back in, and I am on board with Craig FK, who really could be the big mover in the last few laps, as he looks to maybe get past Dark Zenon, who's in P3. And yes, he is on the much fresher tyres than the top two, but Dark Zenon's hards will be looking quite good compared to Craig's mediums, but might be able to make a move nonetheless, so gonna stay on board with him. As no, he's got bad traction, but Zakis Beast is staying with the DRS. Is his only penalty that 5 second?
I think it is, you know. If he's clipped it.
Yes. If he has clipped it. No, oh no, he's got 11 seconds of penalties. Okay. So he's got some corner cutting penalties as well. So I was going to say he might be looking good with those penalties if it was just the 5 seconder that he got, but I don't think it is. As I'm going to jump on board with SLR Barlow, who he had that incident putting him way down the field, but he is now making a move up into P8 on SLR Scopes. And Scopes kind of just parks it in the middle of the corner and says, "You are not going through there, mate." Absolutely not. And keeps ahead of him. Yep, on board with Craig FK now, who, yeah, he's not being able to make too much inroads into Zenon, and Zenon started pulling away from him, so Zenon's showing really good pace there.
Yeah, Craig's tyres might be just going off though. I mean, I'm looking at the tyres and how many laps they've all done on each driver. It's going to be a very interesting end, unless Zakis Beast and Fempest have done a really good job with their tyres. They're going to find it difficult going towards the end of the race. At the same time, Zenon is closing that gap on fresher hards, and then you've got some medium runners behind them, but those medium runners will start to suffer.
Yep, absolutely. Although Craig is still managing to keep within the DRS of Zenon, who has made a couple of mistakes I've just seen, which is keeping the driver in the Renault very, very interested. Owen is dropping off from those two slightly. And Original, with no penalties at all, as well as Craig, of course, with no penalties, looking very, very interested too. But at the moment, you have to say, really, the guy... Well, rather How, who looks like he might be on for the win here if he can maybe make a move on Zenon. Or if Zenon and himself can close up to Zakis Beast and SLR Fempest with the 0 penalties I said, is Craig FK. He was in the pits with wing damage 10 laps ago, and he is running in P4 and is doing a fantastic job in that Renault. Matt?
He's doing... Again, that confidence is so high. It's a joy to watch. We saw it in the pre-season race, and we're seeing it again here. It's still a long way to go, though. 8 laps. I mean, we saw what happened in the first 8 laps, so plenty can still happen. Fempest is pulling away from Zakis Beast now, which explains why Zenon is closing that gap. As predicted, I said at the start of the race, if Fempest can find that rhythm, and he's at the front. He can pull away, which seems to be the case just as long as he is conserving them tyres towards the end of the race, or for the end of the race, should I say.
Yeah, indeed. Zenon, he does look very, very highly motivated to try and catch and pass the two guys ahead of him. This will be the stage of the race where the hard tyres are really starting to show their age. But Zenon's will be looking much, much fresher. 5 laps is not too much time, but with this stage of the tyres, it is very, very, very important having those extra few laps of tyre life. As I'm just going to hop on to Seb. What's your thoughts on maybe some of the lower stuff going down, or maybe the top 5 battle?
So Hicklin, interesting character. He's going to be up there, arguably looking for, I reckon, about a P7 finish, possibly, if we really get to move on with those fresh softs. He is absolutely flying, setting the fastest laps. But as you said, this is going to be a battle between worn mediums to worn hards. Having used both, they're both awful, and they both feel pretty similar. So it's going to be which drivers are able to feel the limit of grip and maximise their lap time. Compared to, you've got Fempest 22 lap old hards, to people like Craig, Owen, original on those 14 lap old mediums. And then Doc Zenon, the dark horse in this scenario, is laps 5 lap younger tyres. And he is looking like he's absolutely flying on the back of Zaki's Beast. And at the moment, he could be pipped to win a race. On track at least.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how quickly he does get the move done. And then how his penalty situation is compared to Fempest, on whether he wants to fight for that victory on track. Be a fantastic way to start off the Division 2 season for him. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be highly motivated to get the job done. Another dark horse you have to say is Original 96. Owen Howe 36 has not really had the pace to really get right up to the back of the drivers like Craig and Zenon and Zach, but Original is managing to stay very, very nicely with Owen. And I thought he just picked up his first penalty recently, but is looking very, very good in that regard as well for a good result. So we are on board with Zenon now. He's really struggled with this run out of the final corner and out of the first corner, which has really cost him maybe a shot at maybe overtaking Zaki's Beast. But he looks a lot closer this lap, so going to stay on board with him. See if he can get the run he needs to make the move into turn 3. It is very, very hard to overtake around this track.
I'm trying to think what's going on inside of Zenon's head. I think he knows possibly that Fempest's pace is as good as Zenon himself, despite the difference in wear of tyres. So I think he's possibly just going to wait for a bit and then get that second place off Zaki's Beast towards the end. Just be a bit patient, work out where the weak spots are, and then pounce. I think that would be the wisest thing to do with Zenon anyway. However, it has been not the greatest few months, so maybe he does want that win very desperately.
Another thing that you have to say is, like, not only will Dawsey and Zach's tyres be vile at the end in P1 and P2, the way people were talking in the race last night who did that amount of laps on the hards, they could be within puncture territory.
We've seen it happen.
Yeah, we absolutely have seen it happen. I think with Lear in Netherlands in Div 2 last year springs to mind of someone getting a puncture from a podium position near the end of the race. It's something that these two drivers are going to be wary of, and I do wonder whether SLR Fempest is pacing himself, as there is a yellow flag.
That's Cameron.
That's just Cameron. Oh,
Yes.
I saw a yellow flag in Sector 3 as they were going through Sector 3, and yep, jumped the gun a bit there, but
that would have been in front of the driver just to lap him as well.
Yeah, I think I saw, because I saw it was the same bit of track that SLR Fempest was driving on in the last corner, but he spun to the inside and didn't avoid, and he managed to stay out of the way of them. Thankfully for the top guys. But what will be interesting is how many penalties does Fempest have compared to Craig FK in P4, and how many penalties does Zaki's Beats and Zark Zenon have compared to him. Craig's dropping off quite a bit, but he does have his 0 penalty, so who knows, that might put him in good stead come to the end of the race.
Does indeed. I'll just jump in quickly. We've got 3 laps to go. But viewers, vote who is your driver of the day. I will be keeping note and then calculate at the end.
I think I know who my personal driver of the day is, but interesting to see what others will say. My personal driver of the day is Craig FK. I think his recovery has been fantastic. But there's also another load of fantastic drives from some others, including Alan, who's had a very, very understated race in P7, but looks to have kept out of the trouble largely. He's 8 seconds off P6, but he did qualify quite low down, I think, with the Ferrari driver. And yeah, he's doing very, very well.
It's good to hear. I'm just seeing, looking at the drivers and how much errors they've got left, not like it matters. Unfortunately, Owen is just outside a second from Craig. Craig won't be too worried even if Owen does catch up, because of course he will be, Craig's a smart driver, he will know the current situation in terms of penalties. I'm already looking in the chat and I'm seeing an awful, in fact everyone's voting Craig. I think yeah, fingers crossed he keeps on doing what he's doing, which is absolutely fantastic, and it could be a podium. But yeah, thank God the race is going to end a bit quieter than what we've seen.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a different kind of commentator's curse, maybe. As I'm on board with what is probably the closest battle on track, which is Hicklin and Scopes, and Teddy is there as well. Hicklin is on fresher soft tyres compared to Scopes' older mediums. So we'll have to see how that goes for him. As yeah, he's maybe thinking about making a move, but then gets a bit out of shape as Hicklin, and that puts SLR Teddy right on the back of him. As Zenon, I've just seen, is all over the back of Saka's Beast, so it's going to go on board back with him. Is Zenon going to maybe make a move? Is this the time of the race where the top two's tyres do fall off the cliff? Seen a lot more votes for Zenon, and someone's tyres who is falling off the cliff a bit. Maybe he's pushed them too hard. It's Craig. Owen is coming back at him.
Well, he's on the medium
As Teddy's
tyres.
made a move on Hicklin, and yeah, that looks to be a reasonably clean one. Hicklin not able to fight that back.
I haven't seen any votes for him, but Zakis Beast deserves a shout out. My joint constructor teammate, he's done a fantastic job. Clearly loves this track, making 12 places at the moment, P2. So be it being chased down by a very hungry Dark Zenon.
Yeah, but looking at those position changes, yeah, Zakis Beast and Dark Zenon, really the two major gainers of this race, up 12 and 14 positions respectively into P2 and P3. So yeah, that is, yeah, brilliant races from them, but Craig all of a sudden is really, really struggling now. I'm not sure he's had a moment, whether he's saving his tyres or what, but
it'll be tyre wear.
Suddenly dropped off the pace.
It will be
As
tyre
I'm going to
wear.
go on board with SLR Fempest going into the final lap. It's been a commanding drive for him, you have to say. We doubted whether him hitting onto the hard tyres at the end of lap 1 was the right decision, but after other incidents I've gone on this race, he has really he's not rushed his way through the traffic. He has made the overtakes when he needed to, such as the overtake on Hicklin, and has just kept calm, kept composed, kept his penalties to a minimum, and has kept his tyre wear to a minimum. It's no mean feat making those hard tyres last the entire race. It's no mean feat getting your first pole position of the season. But it has displayed all the hallmarks of maybe a potential championship contender this season with this drive.
Craig, it's been a fantastic.
He's coming up through the final corners now.
So yes,
And yeah, you can see his tyres, he's got absolutely nothing left really in them. He's not able to push them at all. Is not leaning on them, keeping the temperatures low, and just making sure that he can get up to the line and finish this race. He's going through the penultimate corner now. Is SLR Fempest coming across the final corner now. He does have at least one penalty. but that does not seem to phase him with his race result, as he is weaving as he crosses the line to take victory in the first Division 1 race of the season. Zachis B25 takes P2 and Zenon down in P3.
Oh, Owen on P4.
Oh,
Owen P4.
great second!
Owen so
Craig, with those 0 penalties, does finish in P2. And yeah, that's a real shame from Zenon, because he was looking really, really good, but penalties do come back to bite him, I'm afraid. Looking at those penalties now. Well, you can't really see those from the top guys, but we will be able to see later on. But yeah, fantastic drives from Zachis Beast and Craig to get podiums. And with SLR Fempest, aka Dorsey, taking the victory. Fantastic drives from our podium drivers.
Lovely stuff.
Now on board with the Alpha Tauris, who are going to be the last of the finishers. Cosmic Cameron has just finished, and SLR Barlow on the fresh softs. Could have maybe been a win, but or a podium, or some kind of good result, but the incidents, the safety car timings, whatever, did not come his way, and he finished P12.
I'll invite them into the party in just a moment, but should we do how we normally do it? I'll do first, you do second.
Yep, sounds good. So that's you'll take Zach, and you will take
Dorsey. Sorry,
Dorsey,
Fempest.
and I will take Craig. Yep.
And Rando, if you want to chuck any questions in, say the drivers, you're more than welcome to as well, of course.
Yep, so running through the top 10 now for this race. SLR Fempest takes P1 from P1. Pole to the win for the Mercedes driver. It's the second Mercedes victory of the weekend so far, and the second race of the weekend. Craig FK in the Renault taking P2. It is then a third different constructor and a third different person. Third different constructor on the podium, with Zach's Beast 25 taking P3. Owen Howe 36, recovering from wing damage early on in the race, to take P4. Original 96 in the Williams, a very understated race, you must say, from him, but it does put him home in P5. Dark Zenon from down in P17 comes home in P6. Alan in P7. Scopes in P8, was running as high as P4 at one point, but was hindered by his wing damage. Teddy in P9 starts off the season with a couple of points for the Racing Point team. And finally, rounding off the points is Hicklin in 10th. They got Panther, Barlow and Cosmic Cameron, with Jagoy, SLR Icallum, MRCR Lear, SLR Bean, Drastic Blaze, Cooper Benz and Rockamad 73 are non-finishers from today.
Stuff.
The guys in the party now, if you could please tick your boxes, fellas. And congratulations on your podiums. So, I guess now I think is a good time to start off with the interview for the P3 man. So, if you could take that away, SLR Southerner.
I will indeed. Thank you very much. Right. Oh, this is quite sweet, actually. My fellow Ferrari teammate for the season, Zach's Beast. Congratulations on third place. I mean, you didn't make it easy for yourself in qualifying, but as we saw last season in the wet at Australia, you have got pace here. But today you've also proved it in the dry. So first of all, to start another season on the podium, how does that feel?
Oh, it feels amazing. I wouldn't have expected to be on the podium after lap 1, but managed to just stay out of the rest of the time and just hold my position.
Yeah, you just mentioned about after lap 1, which, well, it seemed almost half the grid were caught up in a bit of chaos. Tell us more about your race, really, because an awful lot happened, and unfortunately, we didn't spot everything that happened with every drive. So, yeah, just tell us about your race, really, from start to finish.
It was very intense. I'm really tired from that, and had to defend really well from those people, but I managed to keep it safe, and managed to spin and just kept it up.
Lovely stuff. Well, once again, congratulations, Zach. On to Bahrain we go for you, and I'll pass you over to Sem for the runners-up in this first race of the season in Division 2.
Yes, our runner-up is Craig FK. And I was speaking to you a bit in the Division 2, Division 3 test race, said, could be on for good things this season, and, well, it didn't look like the simplest race from you, but you've managed to come home in P2. Tell me how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over the moon with that as my first race in Div 2. So, yeah, I can't really remember what went on in the race. It seemed crazy. I think me and an Alpha Tauri came together, and I got put into the wall from that. So I gambled, basically went onto the mediums, and with a few virtual safety cars after that, it saved my tyres a little more. But yeah, I don't know what to say really. I'm over the moon with it, and just congrats to all the other podium sitters as well.
Yeah, of course. I bet you probably were not expecting a podium with that being way off the back of the grid with that wing damage.
Yeah.
Tell us what your thoughts were at that time. Were you thinking had you given
I
up?
was
What were
I
you-
was just
what were you
hoping for
thinking?
I was just hoping for another safety car or a couple of VSCs or whatever, just whatever could get me back into the race really. But yeah, I definitely gambled when I put the mediums on.
Yep. How were the tyre wear on those? We saw the gap between you and Zenon really kind of go back and forth a bit.
Yeah, it
Looked to
did.
be very, very tough for you, but you managed to make it work. Were the tyres looking a bit wary at the end?
Well, you're not on my team, Sim, so I can't really tell you what the percentages were and things like that. So
Oh,
no,
mind games.
no. The tyres were dead at the end. Were quite dead anyway. Yeah, but yeah, they lasted till the end. They did the job.
Yep. And another thing, of course, completing the race with 0 penalties.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive around that track. Imagine you're very, very pleased with that.
Yeah, I've been working hard to sort of reduce my penalties because I was getting them a lot at the start of last season. But yeah, it seems to be working. Whatever I'm doing right.
Yep. And Craig, you are also the stream's vote for the driver of the day.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
congratulations to that, and
Thanks a lot, everyone.
congratulations to
Thank you.
P2.
Yeah, cheers.
And now on to the race winner, SLR Fempest. I'll take you over to SLR Southerner, aka Matt, for this interview, as Dorsey is back on top.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been looking forward to this one. I mean, SLR Fempest, aka Dorsey, where do I start? You won the inaugural race of the realistic division on Wednesday. You won the race today. You avoided and stayed composed amongst all of the chaos that happened all through that race. And after pitting on lap 1, taking care of them tyres, it was truly a stunning performance. First of all, to be back on the top step of the podium, to win an SLR race again, Dorsey, how does that feel?
Over the moon, and all I can say is positive vibes in Brackley, lads. That is, it is absolutely my honour to bring that home for Mercedes. Somebody just told me that McLarens are crying. I don't know what that means.
Sorry,
but,
I would say
you know,
no.
excuse me, this is
Disagree
my
with that,
interview.
Dawes.
Excuse me, this is my interview. So yeah, basically, I won over the moon. It was absolutely fantastic. I heard that people were doubting me. Pitting lap 1 couldn't go all the whole way, but pulled it off. Like you say, won the realistic race. SLR's MVP. You heard it here first.
Right, on to the next question then. Of course, I've been to you quite a bit. You say you have your favourable tracks, of course, Australia and Japan being two of them, as we've seen in recent
Australia
days.
wasn't one.
Australia wasn't
No,
one.
it's only because
Oh,
I practiced.
Well, it fooled me after seeing your times in the past week. But well, in that case, then to win a race, you're not really good. Well, you're not. It's not your favourable. I mean, how much confidence does this fill you with for the season?
Oh, mate. Australia, a couple of weeks ago, knowing that the new season was starting, I wasn't fond of Australia. I knew I had to put the effort in to get good. I've never finished a league race at Australia, so to win it, it's absolutely brilliant. Aside from me being a bit of an idiot and taking the mick there, but seriously, there is a lot of tracks on the calendar I don't like. I'm not great in the rain. Yeah, I mean, see how it pans out, shall we? Everybody that's saying #DosTheDiv1, I don't think I'm on that by a clear mile. I think I'm in the right position, so let's just see how the season pans out. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but yeah, really good to win the race.
Yeah, by all means, it definitely wasn't a dominant performance. A fantastic performance, without a shadow of a doubt. I've got to end it on this. So, I mean, I know gave you a little interview earlier on. You're intrigued by your answer. I mean, is that still the case now after what we've just seen?
It was all jokes, man. Everything I said was jokes. It's literally just ruffle a few feathers in the camp. You know what I mean? We're all racers. We all get on. You know what I mean? We all have a laugh. It's just that I'm renowned, as you know, for being a bit of a sod. So I'll live up to it.
Well, once again, congratulations, Dorsey, on
Thank
a
you.
fantastic race win.
Oh, and congrats to everybody else on the podium. Well done, lads.
Lad.
Cheers, Dorsey.
But to
yeah,
you, Sam, yep.
Yep, that was everything that I hoped that interview would be with Dorsey. And yes, the Mercedes driver starting off the season, well, I would say as we expected, but of course, anything can happen during the race, and he showed absolutely brilliant pace and composure throughout to take the victory. And yes, well, that was an interesting race, folks. I'm sure the stewards will be very, very busy over the coming days, given how many people retired.
Appeals panel.
But anyway, Division 2, it has been known as a Wreckfest division, and it certainly didn't disappoint with that, but there was certainly some fantastic driving throughout as well. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of the commentary booth for a different division this weekend with SLR Southerner and SLR Rando. It has been Australia. The next race is... But of course, don't forget to check us out for the Division 3 race later at 9 p.m. Of course, there is... Of course, the top two of you. So, really, it's going to be a new champion. And there's going to be really anything to play for in Division 3. So, should be a classic. Should be a classic there. So, hope you can join us there. Yeah, as I said, I've been SLR Sem. Been a fantastic race. And we are...